It's not like the old days.
Well, yeah, just don't come back with white powder on your nose.
Well,
sorry,
we're
I
gonna
couldn't
get
help
to that.
It just slipped out.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna go through those DMs because everybody else monetized them, and since they're mine, I might as well fucking
since they were
monetize
Yeah,
it
exactly.
too.
Right? Not cool, by the way. I don't think anybody in this panel look. And I'll say this for everybody out there watching, just for what it's worth. Look, YouTubers, there's not a whole lot of privacy for us, unfortunately. And there are seldom times that we can actually speak to each other that we do indirect messages that we hope are always kept in confidence. And it's not cool when people leak this stuff out. You know, it's like we all have regular lives. Flash has a regular life. Brett does. Tug does. Sean does. Mark does. Tom does. I do. I've got family. I've got kids. We've all got regular lives.
Especially when the leak's falsely attributed to you or mistakenly attributed to you.
Exactly. It's like, dude,
Just saying.
you know, we get on YouTube, we do our stuff, and then when it comes to talking about YouTube, we talk to each other because we can all relate. Everybody on this panel can relate to one another, keeping YouTube and private life separate. And when people do dick stuff like leaking DMs out, honestly, as a YouTuber, I can tell you right now, that's one of the lowest forms of life that happens. I hate that crap, but because it's out there now and everybody's published them, yeah. I mean, we're not talking about anything that isn't already been thrown out there to the public by some asshole who couldn't hold their wad. Sorry. Not sorry.
Agreed.
So, yeah, that's the first time we've had a leak in a FlashCast DM room.
Yeah.
That's the first time that's ever happened in the entirety of this show. Because I've always had a DM room. And, you know, it's just the people you see on there that come on the show and that leaked out. And, you know, I'm really not that mad about it, to be honest, but I am disappointed.
It should be said that whoever did it never did own up to it, too. So, you know, there's that angle as well. You know, just a straight pussy. You know, it's like it's one thing to make a bad decision or something like that, but then you don't even own up to it. So we got to wonder who it was.
Oh,
you know, that's some bullshit, man.
Apparently I'm nose guarding. Did it look like I was nose guarding in that fucking DM? The difference is it was meant to be a confrontation in private.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, man. Well, people have been talking about that subject quite a bit, and Nick was in there. You know, he's seeing the I mean,
I was saying everything I had to say in that room, because I figured, hey, at least I'm saying this shit to his face.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, well, and everybody's fucking friends. We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah,
but you know, I don't think it's a secret that I've been pretty disappointed in him. I don't hate him. I want him to get better. And him getting better is good for everybody in his family.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'd like to see. And, you know, I hope that's what happens.
When I came in, you guys were talking about the leaked DMs and stuff like that.
We haven't hit it yet.
We haven't? Okay. Well, all I want to say is it's not cool that they got leaked. But at the same time, like this chat room had 30 people in it. Nick should have probably known better and just not started anything in there. Probably should have DM'd Flash directly from the word go.
Yeah, I think that's
I mean, like
fair.
Donnie was saying, though, I mean, we shouldn't just assume that it wouldn't be secure. Everybody in there is supposed to have an understanding. I mean, ideally.
I agree. Well, see, like I'm certainly not the person that leaked them, but I would never do something like that.
That's what the leaker would say, though.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, man. Don't throw him under the bus.
Sounds like something a leaker would say.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Here we go.
No, I didn't think it was you, but now I'm
It
kind of
was
looking at you.
me! Oh, shit. I just got scared.
I love how the cat just jumped out of the frame as soon as you
Freaked out. No association.
I love
Anyway.
people. Some
It
people.
was
somebody
actually the
saying,
cat, and you're covering for him. That's it.
There were people saying I leaked it, and it's like, you fucking retard. It would look totally different if I leaked it.
Yeah, exactly.
You might have cut your name out of it, you know. For one.
No, but the way that the name is positioned and stuff would be different if it was me.
And it was chopped up a little bit, like the way the leaker leaked it. Like they put the last message, like.
And why did you block up my name and then leave?
Yeah, you left like the Flash name in one of the comments. I'm like, I saw this. I'm like, no, it was not. Here was the thing, and I told everybody this in the DMs. Y'all already heard me say this. I'll say this to the audience. The worst thing about this to me is that, I felt like, look, for good or for ill, whatever y'all think of him, Nick needs support right now. He needs, the right kind of support. And Nick was trying to reach out to us in Flash's chat. And when that got leaked, my first reaction, y'all remember what I said, was this just probably cut Nick off from this chat. He won't trust anybody here again. And we might be like, the only place, or one of the few places he still feels to go safe to talk to other YouTubers out there. And now he can't. That was the worst part of it for me. I was like Nick was coming in here. I mean, I can't imagine he was reaching out to too many other people privately. But, all of a sudden, because of the leak, he now had another point of communication cut off. And I didn't feel good about that.
That really sounds like something the leaker would say.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
That's what I was thinking too.
Since I'm the only one who's not in that group, I'm the only
I don't know.
one.
I just thought I was in
Scooby-Doo this
rehab
shit.
for a second there. I was like,
Scooby-Doo and Tug.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo it, baby.
Now I'm kind of thinking that Brett has access to somebody's account and was in there.
That sounds like something the leaker would say.
Because that does sound like something a leaker
Could
would
have been
say.
me. Could
I
have
don't
been
have
me.
access to that room. That's something the leaker would say.
We're going to talk about the leaked DMs because everybody else made content on it, and they're my fucking DMs, so I'm going to go
People
over them.
made content on it? Really?
I didn't know that.
Of course.
I didn't know that
can,
either,
you,
yeah.
can you really blame them?
Hell yeah.
I mean,
I didn't know
it's
that.
content, and it's a popular subject right now. Everyone's,
Well, when they were
looking at this.
leaked, too, they were all out of freaking order. Like, the beginning of them wasn't there. Just all kinds of shit.
But are you saying people actually made videos based on those? I mean,
They're
Yeah.
everywhere.
videos,
Yeah.
live
I've been
streams.
out. I've been out. It's like I didn't think they would do that. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
only been doing this 2.5 years, so I'm learning every.
It got
Wow.
out there.
Oh yeah, no, these had the legs of their own.
I'm in the DMs and I didn't even know this. Okay, well, whatever.
So let me pull this up here. So, all right. So I'm gonna have to do this one at a time so that I don't show any DMs. But this is how it all started. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. This is the day that all of the report dropped, and we got all those details, and there's some crazy shit in there. And I'm like, what the fuck is this, Nick? And that's quite the response, And I got mad, so we argued, right? It turned into a big argument.
Yeah, that's when the detailed report actually popped up.
All the details came out.
Yeah.
Is what the fuck is going on here, man? That's quite the news drop. So then I shared some more. And he said, it's true, right? And, I don't know what to believe. I'm seeing this is some fucked up shit that's dropping.
Well, I guess when I just see that comment, it's probably all okay. Then what parts aren't true? What parts are true? It's like saying, it's all bullshit. Okay, well, it's probably not all bullshit. Like, what's true? What's not true? Tell me what's true.
Hold on, let me.
Yeah, I'm not asking you, Flash.
And then
but-
also too, when you see a person that's declined into like addiction and stuff like that, they're not necessarily, like I'm saying, always the same person, and that lying or the denial can come out, all of that sort of thing. So you don't know what to believe when you're seeing something like this.
I can just say, look, I don't know Nick. I've only, I think, talked to him twice, not like all of y'all, but I can tell you in the work that I've done over the years, when you have anyone in a cycle of addiction, they only have one primary goal. It's to feed the addiction, not to get into withdrawal. They will do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know the gentleman, but I'm just going to say, it's like they will do anything, because the first second that they start feeling the ticks, the heat, the heaves, pain, their bones hurting, they will roll over anyone, do anything, say anything. And I feel for them, because most people who want to, whether it's drugs or alcohol, the thing they fear is getting off. They want to get off. It's the withdrawal that stops them.
Correct.
Takes a lot of
Even if they get past that, though, I mean, it's not just a physical thing; it's a
Correct.
mental addiction too.
Correct.
You know, I mean, it's
Right.
terrible coping. You know, you have no coping skills. You do drugs, so you've got to
Right.
learn. I mean, that's why white knuckle sobriety works at about a 10% rate. So,
Real quick, so I'm going to explain these because the conversation that got shared out was not in the right order and stuff, and it just looked kind of weird, especially if you were in there. So that's something that we're going to clear up with this. But I know, didn't you and Camelot went over this the other day, didn't you, Tug?
we went over we didn't pull all these, so I mean,
it's already out there anyway. So
yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. It just it has the name attached to, and we read the two. Apparently, the first how this starts wasn't added to the leak, or maybe it was, and it didn't make its way to Twitter. I don't know, but everything was just jumbled and out of sorts. So, at least show it how it is. Again,
So when I say, bro, I can see in the videos how true a lot of it is. I'm talking about fucking addiction and that there's something going on here, losing all of that weight. I've seen, 2 days ago, the video of him passing out, really drunk, and that's not the only time. There's tons of videos like that. The last time I really talked to him was in January when he was having a lot of those streams leak out, and I asked him and hit him up, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And talked for a little bit, and it sounded like he was doing okay. And then, you see all of this stuff going on. So he's trying to say it's probably true, right? And it seems like it is to me, just based on kind of seeing that you've got a problem. Told him he needs help. And he says, if you think my kids ever went hungry or were neglected, kill yourself. I don't know what to believe. You've become a junkie, and they're not the most honest people out there. In the report, there's a brown substance, right, that couldn't be identified. But even without hair, this is what people are getting hung up on. Junkie means someone that's just like addicted to hard drugs. So what the fuck is cocaine and ketamine and all this shit that they found? I think there's enough there to say that. And to be honest, if I was redoing this, I wouldn't have called him a junkie. I would have said something else. But I was mad. Mad.
Well, I was going to say Flash, and once again, I'm the farthest thing from nose guarding right now, but I will say that brown substance, whatever it was, they probably tested it on site, and I'm sure it's probably getting lab tested, but
I don't think he's doing heroin.
Yeah, they don't find
At
any of that
point,
sitting around. They don't find anything that indicates on the warrant inventory that indicates any sort of thing other than them just, hitting the slopes. But
if I could take it back, I probably wouldn't have called him.
For all I know, it's brown sugar. Like that one, I'm willing to give because they probably tested it with their field kits and it was nothing. So, yeah. But you could say he's an addict. Definitely addicted to something.
Now at this point, I don't think. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it is heroin or anything. I don't think he's done anything. But when I was talking about, we'll get to it. I'll talk about when we get to it. He's talking about getting drunk on stream, which we have here a few times, and it was getting bad and. That doesn't happen anymore. That has not happened since the lofty New Year's Eve stream. I've taken control of that. It was an issue, and I accounted for it. Not saying you need to do the same thing. And then in response, coming a junkie, wow, thanks. And track marks. So that I was wrong on. What I was really talking about that's come up by these pictures of these sores on his arm. Tug, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it's like when they start scratching and you scratch your skin away when there's nothing really there. Yeah. And then it creates sores and scabs up and stuff like that. Look, it's probably not the correct term for it, track marks, but that's if he's not injecting, then that's probably more so what the marks are.
And it sounds like whoever reported it used the term track marks, and, they may not know everything. So to them, it's just, they didn't know how else to describe it.
Oh
That-
yeah,
that
the
was- that's
report
how it
it's
read at
like
first.
arm marks with signs of
Yeah.
abuse. So I'm
Well,
thinking
yeah,
that's the first thing that's coming to my mind.
Yeah.
And that's on top of the brown substance in the report. That's
Yeah,
like what's coming
Well,
to my
the
mind.
anonymous sources, when they said it, it really, I mean, that seemed to be what they were indicating. But again, like Sean said, they probably
these are
don't know what
people
they're
in
looking at.
Yoderville, Minnesota. How much drug use do you think they encounter on a routine basis? Not too much. And I'm sure, Nick jumping off the deep end, like, yeah, there's a lot they can talk about and there's a lot they can describe, but some of that's their best way of trying to describe it. They don't know what
That's
they're
so
looking at.
true.
But it's not good.
So many people would have noticed it, noticed the change in Nick. So many people just around him.
So I have a question because I don't know anything, obviously.
Sure.
Is he in jail right now?
No,
No.
he's out.
Oh, he's out.
Okay, he's out. Okay,
He's out. His
so-
wife's out.
So, hypothetical end game, because again, I don't know much about this. What would be the end game for this? Does he end up in jail?
Oh
He's
no,
taken away.
I don't think that
he's
not
a first
going
time.
to jail.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's a first. This is a. We're not even sure. Like, it's got to get that far first. I mean, he still has the ability to challenge the warrant, the probable cause. I don't think he's going to get what he needs out of that. I think those are probably going to fail, unless there's something out there we don't know about. I mean, if there's, like I said it. This is like 99.9% probably going to be fine. And there's something out there. Who knows? If this gets all the way past the challenges to the warrant and all of that, then yeah, he's a first time offender. He's clearly not, this is all for him and the people he's using with. He has no record. There is an idea in the criminal justice system, especially nowadays after the opioid epidemic, especially. Let's get people treatment. Let's give them a shot. Like, give them the chance to turn it around, show them what they need to do, how it needs to be done. And they have programs. Minnesota may allow them to enter like a diversion program in lieu of a conviction where he could try to work this out. And if he works it out, they could dismiss his case. They could put him, if they decide none of that's going to work, even under state law and the guidelines that are out there, there's a presumption for probation or a state sentence. So, no, the idea that Nick's going to end up, doing dips between stacks of books and making license plates every day, that's not on the cards. As of now, I mean, he could do something crazy and make that a reality, but if this plays out like it plays out a million other times, there's, a pretty good outcome for this.
Right, so
Sorry, that was really long, but
it's okay. So we're hit here. So that was my thinking behind this track march thing. So there you go on that. And then he got mad about it. Says he's never done that. And then I said, well, you're doing cocaine at 8 a.m. with your kids. And that's because, those stories from Aaron came out talking about him doing cocaine rails at 8:30 in the morning. Your fucking kids, I'm sure, are awake then. That's what the fuck I was talking about, as he asks right there. Says he's driving home. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but I mean, that story still was told, and that's what I was thinking. It's like, you're doing this all day. Driving blasted out of your mind. In the report it says that people at the church saw him driving under the influence, allegedly, right? I mean, it's in there, and there's a clip of him talking about driving 88 miles per hour past a cop, and he was amazed the cop didn't pull him over. Well, I bet he was probably nervous because after I think that was only like 4 hours after a live stream where he was smashed out of his mind. You don't become sober completely in 4 hours from that. So he was probably driving drunk. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm just guessing, but I would say if you're as drunk as he gets sometimes, you're not sober in 4 hours.
yeah, a lot of people have gotten a DUI going to work the day after.
Wow, I didn't know.
Oh yeah, well, alcohol doesn't burn off, so people it's called getting like a day after DUI. Like, you woke up, you're probably at like a 0.07 or 0.06, and you drive in and you get stopped, and that's still under the influence.
So that was what I was talking about there when I said that in the chat, and that's what I'm talking about here. So, yes, like he wasn't questioned for DUI. I was bringing that up and talking about it. And I said, I think that you've changed, and he has changed. He has changed.
Yeah, and the point of all of this, at the end of the day, is to say that, this should never have even been a topic of conversation, but for the fact that somebody leaked these private conversations. And that's what's so distressing, and I hope everybody out there watching understands that. And again, going back to the whole crux of this, is that this has been put out in the ether publicly when it should not have been, because these private chats that are now out there should stay private so that people like Nick can have a safe place to go to talk, and that people that care about him can discuss freely and openly to help him. And now that's been destroyed.
I don't think DM should be released or anything, but I've been frustrated as fuck, and I've been loud and vocal publicly because I was like, I don't feel like I'm being heard. And I will say my piece, because at the end of the day, I would much rather say my fucking piece and say it loudly and say, shut the fuck up before you put yourself in jail, you damage your family worse, whatever, man. I would rather do that than, regret it later, because I've had my struggles in the past. I had my kids were a wake-up call for me, but also I got interested. I found an old phone book of people that I knew back when, looked up a bunch of people, and I couldn't find everybody in it, but out of the people that I knew that partied hard, got in, they were addicted, the vast majority are either in prison or they're in the ground. And that's the way it ends. So, I'm not saying DM should leak, and yes, there should be a place to do that. But after a while, man, I've been frustrated with this fucking stuff. It ain't about us either. Ultimately, it's about Nick. He has to own it.
Somebody in the chat said, why does he have to answer YellowFlash? He shouldn't have answered at all, first off. This is dumb for him to say all of this in the chat. He should have DM'd me, and then we could talk, because we actually did DM and talk after this. I'm not going to show you those because those didn't leak.
Exactly.
Well, there's 28 people just talking about it. We're all talking, but we're not talking behind someone. They have access to it. That's the thing. It's not gossiping about them because they're right there in the fucking place. But yeah, something like that happens. They're talking about it. Like, holy shit.
I have a question though again.
Tug is like, Nick is a
what is the point of
mind.
Sorry.
He should know better. Oh, I'm sorry. And Damien, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yeah, that's like, what's the point of even leaking these? Like, what's the end goal? I don't understand.
It doesn't make sense.
Clout, Endymion. Like, somebody took these out of the chat to share them out so they could, like, oh, look what I got. Look what I got. Give me clout.
For what, 2 seconds clout?
Do we even know the person? Like, where did these leak originally? Like, who was the original poster that leaked these? I'm not saying that you're the one.
I'm not going to name anybody because I don't know for sure. I'm not going to do that.
No. I'm not saying who was the leaker, but who was the person that actually posted these on social media first?
It actually went to Kiwi Farms first under an account that only had posted twice ever, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean...
I was hoping we could maybe find that person.
Well, no, honestly, I'm not even really that mad about it, because you shouldn't say anything in these things that you're not prepared to have come out anyway, because how do you know anybody really at the end of the day? So,
yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and, oh, God, it leaked. I'm honestly really not even that mad about it. I'm disappointed, but I'm not really that mad about it, to be honest.
And
to be
you're
fair
right.
with you,
That's
I
just
didn't even know this guy was in our group chat.
Well, no,
I didn't even know who this guy was until this happened.
Well, that's.
Even
I
this day, I don't
mean,
know.
Nick has been quiet for a while in DB, and that's kind of the point.
All right, now hold on. So he's talking about he went on and explained his side a little bit, which, like I was saying earlier, I mean, if you've looked at this anyway, we talked about it, but we were talking about before he started responding. We were talking about the guns being loose under the bed in the DM room, and that's why he's saying this here. Because some people were saying it's like he's going on this like crazy, unhinged, like random things being said. No, he's responding to something that got talked about like way before me and him started arguing here. But now he's just like responding to everything. So I'm guessing he was probably just reading through the room, and then I posted that, and that's what set all of this off in the first place. And that's it. That's the last one. And then there was one more where I said, look, man, I just want you and your family to thrive, and I want you to get better. And I'm hoping that, you fix yourself.
I
and that was it. And then he said, I'm not going to say anymore, and he left the room.
Nick threw what he did in to the DMs. Look, I honestly believe Nick was reaching out to friends. He was reaching out to people he thought would support him, to help him. And obviously, now that they're out there, not everybody in those DMs were, going to just go along with everything Nick said. It recognized the fact that there had been some serious mistakes some serious mistakes that had been made. But the fact is that they got leaked, and that was the wrong element of it. And that's what broke the trust. That's what I was going back to in the beginning about, look.
I don't want to sit here and talk about the leaker. I don't care, to be honest.
What Nick's trying to say is...
It is what it is. It's done.
What Nick's trying to say is, look, as my friend, I would hope you'd know I wouldn't hurt my kids intentionally. And the answer is... as an addict, if you can't self-care, you can't care for others. So,
I mean, nobody's assuming he hurt them intentionally.
Yeah. But that's what set this off. Because it was, in the beginning, though, there was what the fuck is going on? Kids are being mentioned, all of this. But even the police said no physical and no essay. And I want to make it clear, I'm not saying that neglect is not child abuse. It is, but... there's a difference in people's minds. Oftentimes, that's where it stops. I didn't intentionally do this, therefore, and it was like, no, man. It's
saying what we were talking about before with the report and stuff. I was getting mad about that, but when it comes to like neglect, what are you supposed to think after reading those reports and all of that stuff that came out? I mean, it's pretty bad. So, I mean, I just want him to take care of himself, get his family back, and be the father that he can be. And has been before he fell down this hole.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, shit is so polarized. People are either, like, oh, there's no problem, or fucking burn him down. I mean, like, Nick's been a friend for a long time, and I don't want to give up on a friend. I don't, and I don't think he would do anything terribly intentionally. But like I said, addiction's ugly.
God, dude,
that's not judgment, though. That's wanting him to get better.
That's it. I think Tug. We all want that. I think we all want that. We would love to see that happen. But we know Nick's going through shit. But we also have to acknowledge that what his children have gone through have probably been horrible, horrible things that they've had to suffer through for quite a while now. And that's it. We pray for them. We pray for him. We pray for his wife. We hope everybody heals. That's it. That's the old Catholic New Orleans boy in me. I'm speaking for myself.
Nick, I guess he's in a good headspace. That's what Camelot was saying. he's in a good headspace right now. He's pouring all of his liquor out, redoing his studio for like a new kind of. I get why he's doing that. Actually, it's to change the scenery from what the negative to try to make something, I think, more different, to kind of be in a different headspace. So I hope all of that is going to lead to a positive effect and everything gets better. That's what I want to see, truly do. And that's it. I want to get off this now, and we're going to go into super chats.